Hey guys. Okay, so I was talking to my best friend the other night, and we were talking about how um, different people learn things differently. And I was saying because, like, when I need to learn something, it helps me so much if I can see a picture of it. And a lot of artistic people are like this. We're visual learners. We see things, we understand things once we see a visual representation of that thing. So like in geometry or math or whatever, geometry was always better for me because I could see what the numbers were doing. I could see the result, visual representation of the result of what my work was. And especially like in algebra, when you had those and I can't remember the name of what they're called, but when you had the X and Y axis and you solved for Y and you solved for X, and you could make the, what's that thing called? The arch, it starts with a P, parabola. When you could make the parabola and you could find out, you could actually see the curve, the result of what you just did in your math. And that always, like, for me, it was like kind of like solving a puzzle. After I kind of took me a long time to figure out that I could actually do it. It wasn't until I was an adult that I figured that out. I went back to school, and honestly, I have to say math was like one of the things that kept me from going back to school. But once I figured out that I could do it, it was just like this, huge revelation, and just made me feel so much better about my abilities and being able to be successful. And I think that's how a lot of people are when they're learning, no matter how old you are. Sometimes it just takes that little tiny bit of, kind of like this revelation that you actually can do something before you feel comfortable even trying to do something, a little bit more advanced or more complicated. And anyways, I was correlating that to, learning how to be an artist, being a visual learner and everything like that. Because he said he's a better learner when he just does something. He doesn't want you to tell him about it or show him any pictures or anything like that. He just wants to get started. And so, like, the people who, when you're trying to explain something to them and they say, just tell me what to do, I just want to do it. Those are the people who are the kinesthetic learners. They need to, like, go through the motions. They need to feel what it feels like to do that new thing in order to learn. So it's like a physical learning. And then there are other people who, when you're trying to explain something to them, they're like, just tell me. They're an audio learner. They learn by hearing things, and they process information, new information by hearing. A lot of people who are musical are this way. And then there are the people who are like, they just want to read it, or they take notes. And that's like a reading, writing type of learning, which also goes into kinesthetic and visual, because you're looking at the words, you're writing the words down. And if you're listening to somebody tell it to you while you're writing it down, that's a little bit of everything. So when you're learning something new, if you can take notes and listen to them tell you about it, that you're kind of firing all pistons in that sense. But I don't know, learning new things is really intimidating for a lot of people, especially art. I had, one of my favorite things with teaching was that I could, getting a student to realize that they actually can do something. That's probably one of the hardest things to do, because a lot of people get hung up on, I'm taking a dog break. This is my dog in the backyard. I have to throw the ball, and then they go chase it, and then if Junie catches the ball, Buck has to get the ball from her, and he has to bring it to me. They have like a whole handoff situation. It's kind of funny. Anyway, so with art, it's really intimidating. A lot of people think they can't do it because a lot of people get this idea in their head that in order to be a good artist, you have to be able to draw things realistically or in like a photographic method. And I mean, while learning how to draw things realistically is a really good technique to learn, and it helps you in all of your other art, unless you really are really driven to be the kind of artist that draws things photorealistically, you know, practice it, yeah, but you don't need to be able to draw things realistically in order to be a, quote unquote good artist. You can make good art that looks completely unique and different. And honestly, I think, my opinion is that that's my favorite type of art. I'm not going to say one's better or worse than the other one, but my favorite type of art is when you see someone doing something that only they can do. They're putting their own spin on it. They're seeing things in a whole completely different way than you would ever see them before. And they're giving you a little piece of them in the artwork. Their likes, their dislikes, their what colors make them happy, what mood are they portraying in their art, what is their piece of artwork telling you about them, if anything. This piece right here, this simple little watercolor sketch, it might tell you that I like color. I do. I like playing around with color. But if I told somebody else, I could tell 100 different people, draw a bunch of squiggly lines on a paper and color it, and you will never, ever get the same two results. That's what I love about it. I love the fact that everybody has their own interpretation of that subject or those directions. Everybody thinks of things differently, and that's what I think is really great about art and teaching art. Bringing that out in people. But once you kind of get your head around the fact that you can draw things differently, that's such a hard concept to learn. It really is. But once you learn that you can draw things differently, or draw things the way you see them, it doesn't have to be true to life. It doesn't have to be, the way you think, quote unquote, good art should look, or how a master has done it, or anybody else's art form, even if it's the person sitting right next to you and you like their art better than yours. You're never, ever going to be able to draw or paint or sing or whatever like anybody else. So why not just do things the way you want to do it? And it'll make you happy, and it'll stand out because it's individual to you, just like your own personality and everything else you do. I don't know why you would want to make art that looks exactly like somebody else's. It's a good way to learn. It really is. A lot of people like drawing cartoon characters or, fan art and things like that. It's a really, really good way to learn. Practice your technique and practice, drawing shapes and lines and shading and contouring and things like that. But, you never know. You might start drawing a picture of Mickey Mouse, and for some reason your hand goes a weird way, and you end up drawing Mickey Mouse with like a rabbit for a hand or something like that. Who knows? It could be anything, but nobody else has drawn it that way. You're the one doing it that way, and it's unique to you, and I think that's what people should really sort of strive for. And this project was really fun. I had a lot of fun with this. It started out as just a little sketch, sitting next to the lake while the guys were fishing, and I had so many other things that I wanted to work on, and I just kept going back to this little sketch and going, I wonder what it would look like if I if I colored it. And then I thought, well, watercolor is a lot faster than colored pencil, and colored pencil is just, I think I would just get worn out trying to color something in a colored pencil, so I thought watercolor would be fun. And I thought I would challenge myself to try and go with a little bit more subdued shades. So these are kind of fall colors, and then this actually isn't the way it finally turned out. I kind of changed that last color, but I don't know. Hope you guys like it, and hope everybody's having a great day, good weekend, and I guess that's all I gotta say. So I'll see you guys later. Thanks.